everyone, today I wanted to talk to you about what your partner can do to help you overcome OCD. And this topic I get asked very often, and the reason is that a lot of the times when the person is suffering from OCD, their partner feels very helpless and at the same time very confused about what's happening and where it's going and all of these things. So the number one thing is your partner should have knowledge of OCD. And it depends on how much knowledge at this point they want, because it's not like we're starting out from square one. At this point, they've already experienced a lot of the compulsions and dealing with OCD day to day. So they might be at a point where they just don't want to hear it. And this is just the basic truth of it. And I've experienced it myself in my own relationship when I had really bad OCD. And I see my clients experiencing the same thing. So if you are in that stage, it's probably best to leave the partner out of it. If, however, your partner is open to understanding and hearing more about OCD, it will help for them to know more about it. This is usually kind of the difference between men and women, where if the partner is a guy, they're usually, I mean, everybody's different, but as a rule, that I find that guys are a little bit more withdrawn and they just, they'll let the woman kind of handle it. But if your partner is a woman, then the women kind of like to get involved. And this is not like a sexist remarks or anything like that. It's tendencies. Everybody's different, and for some people it's the opposite. So there's no rule here, but generally that's what happens. So if you're experiencing it, it's just this is how kind of it is. But if your partner wants to get involved, let them explain to them what OCD is, what OCD is all about. And it's very important for them to not participate in your rituals, compulsions, and helping you avoid. Because those things is why you have OCD in the first place, why it's sticking around. Not why you got it, but it's why it's not going away. So their biggest support would actually be to do nothing, so not to help you in any way. And the more they do this, the better your recovery will be, because you do need a support system when you are having a bad day with OCD, when you're doing a lot of compulsions, for somebody to say, listen, you can't do this. This is not healthy. You're making yourself worse. So in this way, you need to, if they want to help, that this is how they could really help. And you need to tell them about it. You need to let them know what is happening, and that this is not a permanent situation, it's temporary. But at the same time, if you don't stop doing compulsions, it can become a permanent situation. So it's very important for everybody to be on the same page. And this doesn't go just for relationships between between two people, but it also goes into families and things like that, that whoever is around you, even like roommates, if you're just living with somebody, if they care about you and if they want to help, that this is a real way how they can actually help you. So just to sum up, the two ways that your partner can help you is by learning more about OCD, and second, by helping you refuse reassurance in all of its forms, meaning avoidance, compulsions, all of this. They can actually help you do exposures, where if you are scared to go somewhere by yourself, maybe at first you can go with your partner, but just make sure that you start to kind of eliminate your partner from the OCD, because they can become a crutch where you'll be like, well, I'm gonna go do an exposure, but only if they're there. And it starts to become a pattern of, well, because when they're there, I feel safe. If you feel safe, it's not really an exposure, because you're not exposing yourself to the feared situation. You're exposing yourself to a safe situation, right? So it's not really an exposure, and you're not really getting better. Actually, in fact, you're getting worse because you're doing avoidance. So make sure you don't become dependent on them in this way, but they can offer support, especially in the beginning, and really understanding, and when it comes to telling your partner how much, some people ask me, how much should I tell my partner? Um, it depends on your partner. Like I said, if they want to get involved, you can tell them a lot more than if you really feel like they don't. And honestly, the recovery either way is going to come from you. So if your partner doesn't want to be involved, it doesn't matter really in terms of recovery. The only thing that your partner can do to mess up your recovery is to really help you seek reassurance. That's the absolute worst they can do, because you know, because if they help you with reassurance, you're gonna go to them all the time, you know, and especially if you don't know how bad reassurance is, right? In the beginnings, that happens a lot. So if you are the partner of somebody who has OCD, you have to stop doing that. And you might be faced with arguing, you might be faced with, well, you don't really love me if you don't, help me with the, reassurance or compulsion or something like that. But you have to, then it's the opposite, where the partner has to sit the person who has OCD down and say, listen, this is not healthy. You are making yourself worse. I am not going to participate in making you feel worse in the long term. So it's one of those things where if you support each other, it does become better. But it's not, at the end of the day, it's not the partner's job to help. It's the partner's job to help, but it's not the partner's job to make you recover. And they can't, because you can still seek reassurance from within yourself just by analyzing situations, and the partner can't do much to stop you from that, right? So um, their support is good, but if you don't, for some reason, if you're in a situation where you can't get it, don't feel bad. You can still recover without it. And at the end of the day, this is, as long as you're recovering, this is a temporary situation, and you will be out of it, and it's going to seem just like a bad nightmare. So I hope this helps. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support and for watching. If you need my help, you can always email me at info@youhaveocd.com. You can visit youhaveocd.com. You have a recovery program there with me. Also, you have ebooks. There's a lot of free information, so please check that out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.